$1 billion in TVL. Maple Finance has finally broken the $1 billion mark, and we have been telling you for weeks not to fade Maple. But that isn't all. We told you about Bitwise a few weeks ago. Now Maple wants to add a little spark to its relationship and has penned a deal with Spark to add $50 million into the Syrup USDC pool, potentially rising to $100 million. In the words of the late, great Maximus, "Are you not entertained?" R.I.P. Maximus. Now, let's get into it. First up, let's go and have a look at Dune Analytics. This is the chart that we keep referring you to. Now, just to give you some idea, this time last year, the Maple TVL was $82 million. We are now at $1.045 billion. Okay? 12, 13, 14x increase in 12 months. But that's not all. If we go from January 2025, 4 months ago, we have seen a growth of over 130% from $450 million to over $1 billion. This is no accident. Why? Because Maple is going through the adoption phase. Blue chip companies such as Bitwise and Spark, we're going to talk about in a second, are starting to come to Maple. They offer multiple products, whether that be collateralized loans using the likes of Bitcoin or XRP. They have yield-bearing Bitcoin products paying 5.5%. Syrup USDC is now paying 10%. It was paying 8% a few weeks ago. That has now increased. So you have multiple product offerings under one umbrella, which is Maple Finance. So of course the likes of Bitwise are going to dip their toe in. Of course the likes of Spark are going to dip their toe in. But once the toe is in and once the risk has been assessed, these companies and more are going to come back to Maple. They are going to add further to their positions, and that will create FOMO in the market. Why is Bitwise having all of the fun? Why is Spark getting 10% on the USDC? Other competitors of Spark and Bitwise are going to come to Maple. So maybe the target of $3 or $4 billion TVL by the end of the year, maybe that is being utterly bearish on this product. Potentially. But we have to be realistic and we have to understand that the growth of Maple has to be organic. We do not want to see Maple go from 1 billion to 5 billion TVL overnight. Their products have to mature and expand organically. And onboarding partners at the rate they are onboarding partners is not only prudent, but it's logical. We don't want to see Maple blow up. We want to see the team expand. We want to see their capabilities expand, and we want to see them grow in a natural manner. That chart on your screen in front of you is exponential growth at this moment in time. There will come a period, probably during the summer, where that plateaus for a while, but that is natural. The natural cycle of the year will be that maybe Maple tops out at 1.2 to 1.4 billion by June or July, and then doesn't start again until September or October. But that isn't the end of the bull run for Maple, the same as it isn't the end of the bull run for Bitcoin. It's just how the markets work. Traders and institutions, they all go off on holiday. We have the summer lull, and I think that's what's going to happen. But this is your opportunity to get into Syrup. If you want access to the Maple products, of course you can go and invest in them directly, but you can also hold the Syrup token. That's available on all major exchanges apart from Binance. Spark made this announcement yesterday, April the 15th, that they were going to put $50 million into Syrup USDC, potentially rising to $100 million. Now, who are Spark? They are a $2.6 billion DeFi project. And we will leave a brief description on the screen as we go through this. Now, they very briefly explain how this works. to their customers. They deposit these funds into Syrup USDC, they immediately start to make a return and then start to pay their clients this revenue. Now, just to give you a rough idea, a $50 million investment into Syrup USDC at 10% is going to give them roughly $5 million a year if we go off the APR. $5 million a year, a 10% return. If we look at the 100 million, then of course that goes up to $10 million a year. This is a no-brainer for Spark, its customers, and of course it's a no-brainer for Maple Finance. But this isn't just about the $50 million or the $100 million. That is of course great. That adds 5% to the bottom line of Maple's TVL. But what this does, it creates validation. Validation that Maple Finance can play with the big boys. First we had Bitwise and now we have Spark. And I'm sure within the next 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, we're going to see another player come and deposit into Syrup USDC or their Bitcoin product. It's validation. And the competitors around the likes of Spark, around the likes of Bitwise, are going to take a long, hard look at Maple based solely off this news. They FOMO. Everybody FOMOs. Spark are the first to take that leap. Bitwise are the first in their industry to take that leap. People will follow. It's the first person going into a new restaurant. If people see that they've sat down and have enjoyed their food, they're also going to go and try their food. Maple is the new restaurant on the block, and it's growing and becoming more and more popular as the days go by. Now, one thing I would recommend, by the way, while we are here, is going and following Spark on X, as well as following Maple Finance on X. If you already hold Syrup or you're a big fan of Syrup and Maple, go and show the support to Spark. If, on the other hand, you are Spark-based, come over and follow Maple Finance. All of the links to Maple, Spark, Bitwise, and Crypto Warehouse will be underneath this video. So there we have it, $1 billion in TVL and a new partnership with Spark. We've brought you Bitwise, we've now brought you Spark. I don't know how many more blue chip investors we want to tell you about before you take a look at the Syrup token.
What more could you possibly want to know?
Maple is more than just one product. It has multiple products. As well as having Syrup USDC, it has the Bitcoin product that we told you about a few days ago as well. I will leave a link to that video below here. Also, Maple is aiming big. It's aiming at trying to get to 3 or 4 billion TVL by the end of the bull run. Now, of course, as the price of Bitcoin appreciates throughout the rest of the year, so will the Maple TVL. Potentially, we could be looking at 1.5 to 2 billion in TVL without Maple adding anything to their portfolio. But given the way that the team is handling these new deals, Bitwise, remember, this was a toe in the water. Expect more from them. Once we've seen the 50 to 100 million with Spark, potentially expect more from them. Expect 3 or 4 more big partners to come on board before the end of the year. And as I've been predicting, I believe that the Syrup token will be listed on Binance before the end of the year. Now, it's been listed on Coinbase this year already. I expect Syrup to be on Binance as well, and that will be a clean sweep of all the major exchanges. So the future is rosy for Maple Finance, and Syrup is wholly undervalued, coming in with a market cap of just over $100 million. The flywheel of Maple will start to accelerate as the year goes on. Do not fade the token, and please, if nothing else, go and take a look at the products they are offering. We will continue to tell you about Maple as long as you are interested in hearing about them. Thanks for watching to the end of this video. My name is Mike, this is Crypto Warehouse. You have been great. Until the next video, adios.